True news and reviews. Y'all know how we do, man. We back with another one. You know we gotta get it to you.
Oh yes, man. We got to talk about YNW Melly day 13 and day 14.
Yeah, we
You know,
missed that one.
um, no, we didn't miss it. You know
Oh,
what I'm
we
saying?
missed
I
it. We just
definitely
tapping
caught it.
back
You know,
in.
it was 8 hours of
Mark,
testimony,
mark
but
my words. He finna beat this, man. Y'all remember I
whoa,
told y'all this.
whoa,
Yeah,
whoa, whoa.
yeah. They gonna,
Okay,
yeah.
so the new title of this is why does Bobby think that Melly is gonna beat this? Like, what's wrong with him? That's where we
Just
going
feel
now.
like, yeah. Let's go.
Okay, well, on day 13, I'm just gonna save you the trouble of having to watch 8 hours. I read an article from Double XL. I watched a lot of the courtroom footage and some stuff on the Law and Crime channel. I'm just gonna go over some highlights. Now, on day 13, it began with us finding out that YNW Melly's mom, Jamie King, she got a bodyguard now, and that's because of a social media post where YNW I think it was Juvie's sister shared online saying that she might attack Miss King. The judge actually offered her some more protection if she needed it, but she was good. What's your reaction to
Mhm.
that? I mean, seems like stuff is flowing outside of the courtroom now.
Yeah, man. You know how things get when it's loved ones lost. So, we've seen this happen in cases where
Mm,
people get people
yeah,
get a
well,
little in their feelings about their loved ones, so they'll
yeah,
go that extra mile. So I guess they trying to just look out for her. I don't see nothing.
yeah.
We can't put
Well,
nothing on Melly about that.
I ain't say put nothing on him about that. I don't support people threatening people. We not advocating for nobody initiate violence on anybody. The court system seems to have this taken care of. That wouldn't be a good move on her part. Um, and respect to YNW Mama for moving right. The judge offered her protection, but she said she was good already. She showed up with a bodyguard, so respect to her for not moving crazy in these streets. Another revelation came out that at the end of a YNW Melly documentary that came out shortly after the murders, uh, it says Melly, Sack Chaser, and Juvie were victims of a drive-by shooting, and
Okay.
people are saying that that's an admission. That's an admission that Melly was in the car, because remember the defense is still saying Melly wasn't even in that car.
Mm.
Anybody who doesn't know by now, just to get you up to speed, this is a case where the state of Florida is trying to prove that Melly staged a drive-by shooting when he actually shot his two best friends, YNW Juvie and YNW Sack Chaser. Now, do you think it would be weird that YNW Melly would put out a documentary that he had his fingerprints on that says that he was involved in a drive-by shooting if he actually wasn't in the car?
No, I think maybe he put that out because that's what happened. It was in his documentary.
Yeah, so
So,
that kind of hurts his case. They're
oh,
placing him in the back seat, killing his best friends. Right? It wasn't a drive-by. Right? They got a expert saying that he was whoever the shooter was. The shooter was inside the vehicle, and the gun was maybe 13, 14 inches away from the victims. He's trying to say he wasn't even in the car. So you saying he gonna beat it? How is he gonna beat that?
mm,
Don't you think that's a huge hurdle to get over?
sounds like it. Sounds like I got to hear what the defense was. What was the defense to that? But
Mm, I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. I ain't got no notes on that. And it couldn't have been nothing too notable. I don't
yeah,
think it came up in any article. Somebody online admitted to killing Sack Chaser and Juvie. Uh, did you hear about that? Like somebody online took credit for it. I think the
wow.
defense was trying to trump that up.
That's a good angle. I did hear something about it, but yeah, I didn't. That
Yeah, it
is
turns
dope.
out that it turns out that that person was actually in jail at the time when these people were killed.
Oh, he was locked.
Citation. Yeah, he was locked up. That's
Oh, the
what the
person who said they did
yeah,
it.
that's what the lead detective that took the witness stand said.
Oh,
Yeah, so I don't know how well that's going to really create a
maybe
doubt in the
yeah,
jury's mind. You think that could still maybe create a sense of doubt in the jury's mind? I'm
yeah.
really trying
Maybe
to
he
get
could
into
be a
your mind.
big
Like,
dog. Yeah, maybe he was a big dog.
uh,
You know.
another thing they brought up is a video of Melly dancing just hours after the murder. That's in the you know a little video that they got. He's doing the little handshake thing with Bortland too.
That's dancing,
No,
or
they
is
were
it
dancing
handshake?
like you know how you dance and handshake with a dude, and y'all doing little stuff like that. Same day, like later that day, these murders happened at the early morning,
They got
right?
video of this.
Yeah, they showed it in court. How you think that's going to affect the jury?
Damn, yeah, I gotta take
I
that
think it'll
back.
make it look like a demon. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we all cope differently. I mean, I'll shoot him some bail. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
We
you
all
don't
cope
know how that
differently.
man cope, but
We're a happy, joyous
you got
people.
me thinking. I may need to take that back, man. He maybe looking a little rough for him right now. Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, they're
but
still
it's
trying
going
to.
this far.
Well, a big thing that they're trying to prove is that the phone that they got is actually Melly's. The defense keeps saying, like, Your Honor, we don't even know that this is Melly's phone. They keep on referring to these texts, but they have texts between Melly and his mother around the time that the crime happened. And they brought up the text where he tells his mom to get him a Glock ASAP. And she's like, you got a 45 already. Like, what's the big deal? And he's like, I just don't want to have no illegal gun. She's like, well, this one ain't illegal. That seems a little bit incriminating. And they even have a jail call, right? Where he's giving the code to that phone that they're trying to say was a group phone, like a little community phone between his friends. Like he's on a jail code called, giving his mama the code so they could get into it and, you know, do what
Yeah,
they need to do for him. Get him a little kosher pack or something like that.
yeah. Maybe he was using the phone that day because all of that happened. You know, we don't know. Was that his phone originally, or maybe that was the phone he just was?
I don't know, but that phone that they're proving is his, which I think is his. I'm not in. There's no doubt in my mind personally. You know what I'm saying? But the phone that they're saying is his was an estimated 400 meters or so away from where the shell casings were found. Keep in mind that's not where Melly and Bortland talk about where the drive-by happened. They're talking about 400 meters away from where the shell casings were found.
Mm.
And then they got a detective that testified. He said that the shooter was 8 to 12 inches away from the victims. Like I said earlier, I just referred to the notes. That was his quote. So, but when now they trying to actually establish a little motive for the murders a little bit here as well. I'll read from the Double XL article because they went into that. You ever wonder why he could have did it?
No.
You
Mhm.
never wondered that?
Why he could have?
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
he
Fight with one of them or something like that. That's what I thought.
Yeah, that's what the father said. We watched the interview with the father. Well, I'll read what Double XL said. The motive for the murders has been a point of contention. Today, the prosecution shared phone messages that they say prove the killings were done out of jealousy and money issues. Uh, he said, this is a quote from Melly. Y'all acting like y'all bosses, allegedly said in one message from August 2018, 2 months before the murders. Money ain't right without my drip, so get it right or something gonna flop. And a quote from Sack Chaser says, I'm gonna pay you back for everything did for me. and every idea, all that. We always gonna be brothers. They leaving out a lot though. Them text message was
I know,
all that
yeah,
we gonna be brother, always gonna be brother stuff. They're saying that that happened after a fight, and the father, was alleging that during that fight, Melly knocked out Sack Chaser's. No, Sack Chaser knocked out Melly's goals in front of his girlfriend. So that could be a motive. What do you think about the claims that they could have been trying to extort him? Because there was a lot of texts where Sack Chaser was asking for money via text, and they was paying them all back. They was reading them all back. Uh, what do you think about that? Do you think that that could be a possible motive? If somebody bullying you, beat you up, you're always asking for money, talking about he the CEO, you just the face of this, stuff like that was in the text message. You know?
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's what they could feel is a
Yeah,
motive. They making
yeah,
that as a motive, but
yeah.
who knows?
Well, they definitely got into a huge fight. So these guys were that just shows that they weren't beyond being violent with each other. Another thing, Melly said that his mom sold her soul and gave the okay for her to be killed at one point. In the text messages, he was saying, and the defense was saying that that's irrelevant. It don't have nothing to do with the trial. But I think it points to like what his character is. Do you think that that's gonna like kind of like maybe sway the jury a little bit when they see like how he was talking about his mom at one point?
Damn. Yeah, that's touching some points. Yeah, I mean, it's not looking good for him. I tell you that.
Well, on day 14, we'll read from Channel 10's website. YNW Melly defense asked the judge to exclude messages, questions use of tech. Uh, Now they trying to question that the technology could even be trusted. That when they're going back to the phone records and stuff like that about where he was.
Yeah,
Um, this is a quote. You wanted to know what the attorneys were saying, what their, defense was. He said, "We asked that the court put a stop to this," said attorney David Howard, who is representing Demons. Howard asked Broward Circuit Judge John Murphy to exclude some of the messages, and he accused the prosecution of presenting inadmissible evidence to the jury because of lack of authentication. Uh, this is not outside of the scope of the jury's ability to understand, Assistant State Attorney Christine Bradley said. Howard said that the jury didn't know anything about the reliability of the technology used to determine a cell phone's location. Bradley told Murphy that the tech has been in use since 1967. And the defense attorney responded with, "Horoscopes have been around for a while. A lot of people think they are reliable, but it doesn't mean they are admissible." I ain't gonna lie, that's a great point. You know, speaking of how long a technology has been around doesn't speak to the validity of said technology. He pointed out a really good logical fallacy. Just like, I say that all the time, horoscopes is in the newspaper. A lot of people believe in them. That don't mean that they correct, you know.
yeah,
So I don't know. Let's play a little bit of that.
The brand new Hummer EV is here now at Vera. Come see their amazing inventory of.
I know it's gonna be a commercial. To hell with it, man.
yeah, man. Well, hey, we want to know what y'all think, man. What do y'all think about this YMLE? I know in the beginning I went off and saying, hey, I think he could beat it. I think it was lasting. It was lasting pretty
Yeah,
long. But
with the new
now,
bombshells, you have
yeah,
I
with the
changed
new
your mind yet? Do
bombshells,
you
I think
are you?
I'm like, yeah, maybe the ball back in their court. I thought he was up 10. I think he down 20 right now. Hopefully it ain't the fourth quarter, you know.
What you mean?
But
Hopefully it ain't the fourth quarter. Why? Hopefully,
I mean, if he ain't say he do it, I don't know. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying if he
I'm
did
not.
do it, would you feel safer with him off the streets? Can you admit that? Would it say if he did this, won't the streets be a better place with his ass
If he
out
did
the
do
way?
if he did do it, if he did do it, we need to get him out of there.
All right, at least we could agree on that.
Yeah, for sure.
But they brought up Fredo Bang again too. That was crazy. They love bringing up Fredo Bang.
Yeah,
y'all tap in on the comments, man.
Y'all tap in, man. We're gonna catch y'all on the next one. Sure.